welcome. David Levin here, Raising Your Game Today. This is Tuesday, so we're talking about the mental game of sports and competition. Fridays are for the rest of our lives. This week, I want to talk about a common problem sports parents have, which is they don't know how to talk to their teens after they've had a bad game, a bad competition of some kind. We can tell they're upset and frustrated, disappointed. We want to help. We want to make them feel better. We might also have some specific feedback on what went wrong, on how to do things better next time, but we're not sure the best way to share that. It's just a tough spot. It's a fraught situation. It's easy to have it go wrong and actually make both of us feel worse. So a few things to share on this. The first is to say, just as a general idea, it's best with teenagers to not take the approach that you are the expert or the boss anymore. This comes from Kim John Payne's excellent book, The Soul of Discipline. But with teenagers, we're not really the boss anymore. At least they don't see us that way. It doesn't work at this stage to tell them what to do or what to think or what to feel. They see themselves in that position now. They're moving toward their own goals, forming their own opinions about how things work and what's important. So when you take the boss approach, it just shuts things down and pushes them away. And you may have felt that in your own family already. I know I have. So the best approach for us to take with teens is that of the guide, not the expert, not the boss, just a helpful advisor there to support them in reaching their goals. And the main way this approach shows up is in the way you frame what you say. Basically, rather than telling them things, you now ask them questions. For example, you say, "What's your plan for this project you want to do?" They tell you, you see a hole in their plan. Rather than say, "No, that's not going to work," you say, "It seems to be this might be a problem. Seems to me this might be a problem. Have you thought about what to do if that happens?" So you're just there helping them see things they might be missing, encouraging them, supporting them with your perspective and insights. Does that make sense? I found this incredibly helpful with our kids as they've come into the teenage years. My instinct is to tell them what's right, what's smart, what needs to be done. And that works great when they're younger. But as they come into this phase, this guide approach works much better, it's easier, and it's much better for the relationship. So that's the first big thing. Shift your approach, just in general, into guide mode. Ask questions as opposed to telling them things and being the boss. The next thing is be intentional about what you talk about and when. Right after the game, I would avoid talking about the details of what happened, what they did, what went well, and especially what didn't go well. They will be totally focused on every little thing they did wrong, right? That's just how our brains work. You don't want to add to that because it's actually a really unhelpful thing for them to do. In our Advanced Mental Game Mastery course, we actually encourage athletes to intentionally avoid thinking about anything that went wrong until the following day. The first hours after competition are a super vulnerable time emotionally. Even if they win, they're exhausted, altered. There's just no way they can think clearly. And the tendency is to make everything worse than it actually is, which just adds to their stress, their pressure, and all the negative emotions they'll have to work through to compete at their highest level. So the more we can avoid that, the easier it is for them to stay focused and positive and snap right back after a setback of some kind. In other words, it helps them be more resilient. So we just set that expectation. Post-game, only positive thoughts until the following morning. Now, that's easier said than done. That's why it's in our advanced course. Our foundation course, the Sports Academy, is where they learn how to have that kind of control over their thoughts in the first place. But you can still help them to a certain degree. When they start talking about what went wrong, what needs to be better, you can gently direct them to what went well, ask them what things they feel good about. Most important, though, just connect with them at an emotional level. Gosh, that's hard. I'm sorry about that. That's frustrating. Just reflect their emotions back. No judgment, no analysis, no problem solving, no trying to talk them out of what they're feeling. Maybe also offer a couple of options for what you'll do after the game. This, again, is a great little illustration of being a guide versus a boss. the boss would just decide and tell him, right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go out for ice cream or whatever. The guide says, so what do you feel like doing now? We could go here, we can go there. What sounds good to you? Just be there for them. Try to redirect their thoughts away from negative things where you can and give them space to feel whatever they're feeling. And then the best thing you can do, of course, is to help them develop the mental game skills to manage this themselves. There are a ton of things they can do to keep bad things from bringing them down, to keep their emotions from taking over and hurting their game, to protect their mental state and stay strong and confident and positive no matter what's going on. At this stage, it really is up to them, ultimately, to handle these kinds of mental game issues. And it makes all the difference in them performing at their best, continuing to love the game, and reaching their goals if they're looking to continue on to college and beyond. So if they are struggling with dealing with setbacks, etc., it's a great idea to invest in some good mental game training so they can develop these critical skills. And of course, that's what we teach in our Raise Your Inner Game Sports Academy and advanced mental game mastery courses. In any case, those are some things you can do to talk to your child after a tough day, or really after any day. Practice being in guide mode rather than being the boss. Check out Kim John Payne's great book, The Soul of Discipline, for more on that. Link in the notes for that. Don't talk about what went wrong or any things that need to be changed or improved until the next day, if you can help it. And if they're struggling with their mental game or you just want to give them an extra edge, check out our Raise Your Inner Game trainings. All right, I hope that was helpful. I know this can be a real worry, how to support your child and connect with them when they're bummed out after a bad game or a bad practice. So let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, keep up the good work. I'll see you next time.